In Hollywood's golden age of charm and charisma, few women captured hearts quite like Sally Field. Sweet-faced yet strong-willed, she grew from America's girl next door into one of cinema's most respected actresses. From Gidget to Norma Ray and Forrest Gump, she became the rare performer who balanced warmth, humor, and emotional honesty in equal measure. But when at 78, Sally looked back and revealed the 7 actors she had secretly admired the most, the men she said she either loved, longed for, or wished she had worked with, the list told more than just who she fancied. It revealed her idea of what real masculinity meant and how love and admiration had shaped her career. Let's count down those 7 names and the hidden truths behind each. If this kind of story touches your heart, if you're someone who cares about truth, responsibility, and speaking up for the voiceless, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with someone who should hear it. Let's get started. 7. Warren Beatty, the Hollywood prince who never stopped chasing stardom. Sally once joked that Warren Beatty didn't walk into a room, he arrived. There was truth behind the humor. Beatty embodied old-school confidence, tall, debonair, dangerously intelligent. By the time Sally's star was rising in the early 70s, Warren was already Hollywood royalty, fresh off Bonnie and Clyde and Shampoo. Sally admired him not merely for looks, but for his intellect. He directed, produced, acted, and even rewrote scripts, a creative force who demanded total control. Field respected that drive. He was infuriating and fascinating all at once, she once told a friend. Their paths crossed socially, and though no romance ever took root, Sally later admitted that had timing been different, Warren could have talked me into just about anything. Behind the glamour, however, she sensed loneliness, the price of being the perfect man in an imperfect business. For Field, Beatty symbolized the type of charisma Hollywood manufactured but rarely sustained. He was the dreamboat that stayed a dream. 6. Tom Selleck, the gentleman detective who made mustaches dangerous again. In the early 80s, when Magnum P.I. dominated television, Tom Selleck represented a new kind of heartthrob. Rugged yet gentle, with that signature grin and an unshakable moral compass. Sally once said watching Magnum felt like being protected through the screen. Selleck's combination of humor, humility, and quiet strength appealed deeply to her. She admired that he kept his private life grounded despite fame. He wasn't playing cool, she told an interviewer. He actually was cool. Sally imagined acting opposite him in a romantic dramedy, perhaps as mismatched reporters or sparring lawyers. Tom had the timing for comedy and the depth for heartbreak, she mused. Though they never shared a screen, she considered him the embodiment of the dependable man, a counterbalance to the chaos of her real-life romance with Bert Reynolds. 5. Sam Elliott, the voice, the eyes, and the cowboy code. If voices could win Oscars, Sam Elliott would have a shelf full. That slow, gravelly drawl, paired with his soulful eyes, represented the authentic masculinity Sally Field always said Hollywood was losing. They met briefly in the late 70s, and she remembered him as a man completely comfortable in his own silence. Elliott's brand of manhood wasn't loud or performative. It was patient, steady, real. She admired that. Sally once described her dream role opposite him. A Western where she'd play a widow try and save a ranch, with Elliott as the quiet drifter who helps her fight off greedy landowners. You barely have to write dialogue, she said. Just watch him look at you, it'd say everything. Though the pairing never happened, Elliott remained one of her most respected contemporaries. He's the kind of man, she said, who reminds you why you fell in love with movies in the first place. 4. Jeff Bridges, the everyman poet of Hollywood. Sally Field has always loved performers who seem effortlessly human. That's what drew her to Jeff Bridges. Whether in The Last Picture Show, Starman, or The Big Lebowski, Bridges radiated authenticity, the opposite of Hollywood vanity. When she was filming Places in the Heart in 1984, she told a friend she wished Jeff had been cast opposite her. He listens when he acts, she explained. You feel like the scene breathes with him. Bridges, like Field, came from a working Hollywood family, yet managed to avoid the cynicism that often follows fame. They shared an earthy sincerity, and a love of craft over spectacle. In later interviews, Sally included him on her dream list of co-stars she regretted never working with. He's the man next door you never stop thinking about, she smiled. 3. Paul Newman, The Moral Compass. By the time Sally Field won her first Oscar for Norma Ray, Paul Newman was already an icon. But she saw in him something deeper than those famous blue eyes. Paul never confused celebrity with purpose, she once said. Newman's activism, from civil rights to his Newman's own charity Empire, impressed her as much as his artistry. They shared a belief that film could change minds, not just entertain. She often cited his discipline and modesty as what made him eternally attractive. They met several times through industry events, and she recalled being disarmed by his humility. He asked about my kids before he ever talked about work, she said. That moment, she claimed, taught her that kindness outshines charisma. If Beatty symbolized the intoxicating illusion of stardom, Newman represented its antidote, integrity. For Sally, he was proof that a man could be both powerful and good, and that was the ultimate form of allure. 2. Denzel Washington, The Quiet Fire. Though they came from different generations, Sally Field has long praised Denzel Washington as one of the few actors who could hold your soul still just by looking at you. They worked together briefly on Lincoln, 2012, when Denzel visited the set, and Sally later said she was struck by his intensity and grace. He carries silence like armor, she explained. He doesn't need to raise his voice to own a room. For Field, Denzel represented the modern ideal of strength, confidence without arrogance, precision without pretense. She compared his craft to watching music being played on skin instead of instruments. Though romance was never in question, admiration certainly was. Denzel embodied the same values Sally spent a career defending: dedication, empathy, and moral clarity. He reminds you, she said, that power can be gentle. 1. Bert Reynolds, The Love That Burned Too Bright. Of course, no list of Sally Field's most significant men could exclude Bert Reynolds, the co-star, the lover, the heartbreak. Their romance during Smokey and the Bandit remains one of Hollywood's most legendary. In the late 70s, they were America's favorite couple. She, the quick-witted ingenue with hidden steel. He, the swaggering superstar with the Trans AM grin. On screen, their chemistry sizzled. Off-screen, it consumed them. Sally later wrote in her memoir In Pieces that Bert was the love of my life, but also the hardest lesson. He was charismatic and protective, yet controlling. He adored her independence, but also feared it. The more she succeeded, the more their love twisted under fame's weight. When Smokey and the Bandit 2 wrapped, the relationship was already fraying. We loved each other deeply, she confessed, but we couldn't heal what fame had broken. Still, years later, Bert publicly called her the one who got away. For Sally, his memory remained bittersweet, a symbol of passion and pain intertwined. I'll never stop being grateful, she admitted, because even the heartbreak taught me who I was, the thread that binds them all. Looking at her 7 chosen men, Beatty, Selleck, Elliott, Bridges, Newman, Washington, and Reynolds, a pattern emerges. They weren't just handsome or talented. They represented different eras of American manhood. Beatty's charisma, Selleck's steadiness, Elliott's soul, Bridges's honesty, Newman's morality, Washington's grace, and Reynolds's raw magnetism. Each revealed what Field found irresistible: authenticity. As Sally once summarized, charm fades. What lasts is truth. Her choices tell a story not about fleeting attraction, but about admiration for men who lived with conviction. They taught her in different ways how to navigate her own contradictions: fame and humility, strength and tenderness, love and loss. In a culture obsessed with youth and perfection, Field's reflections remind us that true chemistry isn't about surface beauty. It's about spirit meeting spirit, one grounded in respect and shared vulnerability. Sally Field today, at 78. Sally lives quietly in California, surrounded by family and memories. She continues to act occasionally, always choosing roles that mean something. Hello, my name is Doris, spoiler alert, 80 for Brady. When asked recently if she still believes in soulmates, she smiled. "I believe in connections that change you. That's rarer than soulmates." Her list of 7 dream co-stars isn't a tabloid confession. It's a portrait of what she values: decency, humor, gentleness, and truth. The men on her list reflect different shades of that ideal.